Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. This is going to be the new Essence products for Spring/Summer 2025. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This video is going to be an overview with the new Essence products that are launched for Spring/Summer 2025. I did the new Catrice products last week, and to my surprise, the new Essence bits already dropped this week. So I was just like keeping an eye out for these, and then they dropped and I placed an order and it came yesterday and I'm filming with it straight away. So as per usual, I'm going to put as many of these products on my face to share with you my first impression, and I will be inserting photos of close-ups and swatches that I have done with these right before I sat down to film these videos. These products are brand new. I have no clue as to their wear time or anything like that. This is just going to be a first impression, and then a couple of months down the line, once I've given everything a bit more of a chance with dedicated reviews over on the blog, I'll come back on here and share with you all my thoughts on all the new Essence and Catrice stuff. So that's sort of what you can expect from me. The Essence drop is usually a lot smaller than the Catrice drop. That's still the case to this day. And there are a couple of very interesting products here today that I think can be pretty polarizing. So let me just get to it. As with all of these videos, I don't always have enough products to like do a proper full face with everything. So I will be substituting with things from my Shop My Stash, such as my eyeshadow primer, which is the NYX HD primer. I'll make sure to leave them in my description box down below, but it's only going to be a few products because I pretty much have a full face makeup look right here. So not that many different products, but like in terms of like, you know, with Catrice doing like 5 different lip lines, Essence has done like a new product in almost every single category, and we're going to be testing them out together. And this is going to be the first thing I'm going to be showing you. This is the Silky Blur Poreless Primer. And here is why this is intriguing to me. It says silky lightweight texture, and it should make pores optically invisible, and it should prolong your makeup wear. But it says with niacinamide. So maybe this is also like skincare-y at the same time. When I tried it on the back of my hand, it didn't feel like this was going to be my favorite primer of all time. I don't think it's going to be, but it definitely seems promising. I definitely tend to like more hydrating things. I actually, with the order I placed for all of these new products, because I paid for these with my own money, I did get a backup of the Jelly Grip. I used one of these up last year, really enjoyed it. It's a dupe for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip, and I like this one just as good, maybe even better than the Milk Makeup one. So I don't think this is going to be like my new favorite primer from Essence like the other one was. But I thought it could still be a good moment to try this out. For the complexion products, there's only a few here, but I think it's all going to be a little bit too mattifying for my dry skin. But we're just going to throw it on and see, because you can never judge a book by its cover. And as I said, I am going to be testing these things out a little bit more. And I just mentioned the Jelly Grip Primer and it being a dupe. And Essence is still duping. They're still doing it. Because in a second, you'll get to see some dupes that they have done yet again for K-Beauty products. So if you're familiar with what K-Beauty has to offer, you're going to see a couple of products here today that Essence has duped. So let me whack this on. Yeah, it's nice. It does feel hydrating. Like it does feel like it's hydrating my skin. I did my skincare like about an hour ago, so it's not as if there's anything else there. But it also doesn't feel like super pore clogging. Like sometimes with these very sort of silicone heavy primers, I always feel it sort of clogs my skin. This one, like it feels really sticky on the back of my hand, but it does spread out really easily. And it does feel nice on the skin. I was afraid it was going to feel very heavy. But yeah, once it's like my cheek has dried down, then I can feel it's not like a tacky primer, but it's almost like a powdery feel. It's very strange. It does give a little bit of glow, it seems, so that's good. Does it minimize pores? I've got pretty dry skin, so I'm not the best judge of that because I don't have too many very obvious pores, but let me check in my close-up mirror that I have here. Yeah, I do think that there are like especially on my nose, that my pores look a little bit smaller. But I just feel that very often, like also that putty primer, who remembers that from e.l.f., everybody was going crazy for that, and that was just not my favorite because it really sat on my skin, and everything I applied on top of it didn't look that great. And that's also where I'm sort of like a little bit afraid of this product right here. This is the foundation stick that they've come out with. This comes in so many shades. Unfortunately, when these products first drop, they never drop all of the shades in one go. I always feel it takes like a good month or two for products like this to where they have the entire shade range on offer. And very often with both Essence and Catrice, because they only have limited availability in store, you need to go online to see the entire shade range and be able to purchase it. Which, you know, they all have their reasons for it, but I just feel like, at least put testers for all of the shades in the stores. And they don't do that. I picked up shade 70 in this foundation stick. I can't read what this is supposed to do because the color of the writing is the same as the pink stick that is inside it. I already dropped mine, so it's no longer perfect, but I'm sure it's fine. And what the reason why I don't love a stick is that I always feel it's a bit of a scam because this is how much product you get. To me, that's not a lot. The shade seems to be okay. It's a little bit yellow, but none of the cooler or neutrally undertoned shades were really in stock, or they were going to be far too light to me. So that's why I went with something that's closer to my skin tone in terms of depth, but I think this is going to be the wrong undertone, and most foundation sticks are just far too mattifying, which is why I don't have too many in my collection. In fact, together with the new Soft Glam filter stick that Catrice came out, these are now the only two foundation sticks I currently have in my collection. So let's see how this goes, whether it will blend, because that's of course the main issue with these. Oh, it's far too matte. And I think it's actually, like, this is one of the deeper shades for like fair skin tones, and it's actually too light for me. So that means that this, oh no. Okay, this is a hot mess. Can you see? Like, I don't think it looks as terrible on camera, but it's accentuating everything on my skin. Like, everything. Like, I've got some, like, milia and, like, little bumps on my cheeks, and it's just highlighting that. And it's got no coverage because I've got redness right there, and the redness is coming right through. Maybe fingers is in the way, so let's just test it out with a brush. How does this apply with a brush? So going in with my Sigma multitasker, the F47. This is my new foundation brush that I've been loving since they sent it to me. So how does this work if I just apply a very light layer? Okay, so this looks a lot better than when it's like applied straight up from the stick to the face. With a lot of stick products, whether it's blush, bronze, or highlighter, I always like warming it up on the back of my hand because I feel the product just has a better blend if I do it that way. And then you can just like pick it up with a brush and apply it, and you get a much better sort of application usually. Or just go in with fingers, but warming it up is usually the way to go. But this is already like my third pass, and there isn't a lot of product in this stick. It does feel very melty. Like when I apply it to the back of my hand, it does melt really easily. So it doesn't feel tuggy or anything like that. Like I really, like where I applied the stick the most, it's just not even blending out. I think it may also have to do with the primer that's underneath. So I'm definitely going to have to try this over my usually very dewy primers that I just like a bit better. But yeah, this doesn't have really good coverage. It's quite sheer, also because I'm applying it with a brush. And I think that this may be better for people with oily skin. It's just not really for me. Same with the foundation, with the primer. I had already expected that just from what they're named and what the product is. I already knew kind of that these probably weren't going to be my personal favorites. But hey, if you do have very oily skin, this may be a product that you can test out. So I am going to apply a little bit of my Kiko Skin Tone Concealer to cover up any redness that I might still have. And then I'm not going to be using any powder because I feel it's already so matte. Like, I still want to keep a little bit of the glow. Like, I do like the finish of it, but I don't think that I need the powder to make this last longer on my skin. I think if I'm going to apply powder on top, I'm only going to make things worse. So I'm just going to wear this as is, and I think on my dry skin that may actually work best for these products. Okay, so the concealer helps evening out just a little bit, but I still feel, especially this cheek where I started things off and I didn't know what the product was going to do, I feel it just looks patchy. I've got more coverage here, and then right here on the top of my cheek, it just wipes off and I can't even really layer my concealer on top. And I don't want to go in with even more concealer because I think it's just going to make matters worse. Where I went in straight with the brush from the back of my hand, it looks a lot better. It looks a lot more even and it's got a little bit more glow. So I do feel the product itself is okay. It just isn't quite right for me. Brows are done. We're going to go into the cheek area. And I've got too many highlighters that I can possibly show in this video. So I'm going to be testing out the two little stick things in another video, or in another review, I should say. So these will be popping up on my blog, maybe February, maybe March. But we have the Baby Got Diamond highlighter stick and the Baby Got Glaze balm stick. So I was hoping that this balm stick thing could be like an affordable dupe for the Glossier Halo Scope in quartz. Mine is getting like to that point where it's about to expire. I've owned that one for years and I really like it. And that is like a highlighter stick and then it's got a balm in the middle. I really love the effect that that gives. And I was hoping this could be the same thing, but when I swatched it on the back of my hand, it didn't really do much, really. And it smells like burned plastic, which is not a good scent. And this was a little bit disappointing because this, the diamond stick, like, you can already tell just by looking at this, I hope. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but this is straight up glitter. So this I don't want to put on my face because I have to film 3 other videos after I film this one. And I have a hair appointment later today, so I do need to go out into the world and show people my face. So that's why I thought it was safer to go in with the Drop of Sunshine highlighting drops. These, very questionable to me. The Baby Got line is one of the best things that Essence does, though, especially the ones that come in a squeezy tube. They're dupes for the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light ones. I've put them in my 2024 favorites. They are popping up in videos left, right, and center because I love them so much. And some of the other products in that stick format have been really good. The original bronzer they did is a dupe for the Milk Makeup bronzing stick in Baked. I have a short up on the channel where I compare the two and swatch them out. And they've now come out with that bronzer in a shimmer version. I'm going to use it. It looks too dark and too yellow in a swatch. So I'm not sure if I'm going to love this. But yeah, this is, I don't think it's the right shade. The shade in the matte bronzer was better for me than the shade in the Milk Makeup bronzer. So there again, I still have both those products. The Milk one has actually expired. The Essence one I'm going to keep because I like that even better than I do the Milk Makeup one because the shade is just better for me. This I'm not sure of, but we're going to test it out. But these are nice. You just don't get a lot of product. So let me show you with this bronzer as well, then I think you can see a little bit better. This is all you get. So you don't get a lot of product with these, but they're nice, they're cute. They are easy to like throw into a bag. The packaging is very cheap. I was already showing you these highlighter drops for a second there. So they did the Drop of Sunshine bronzing drops in August. Those only came in one shade. They were far too orange for me and I didn't love it. And this I was afraid wasn't going to be right for me as well, but of course I do this for the channel. I buy these things to review them for you. So I was just curious, like, is this okay? Is it not okay? It only comes in one shade yet again, and yet when I swatched it, when it first comes out and it's very concentrated, it looks like a pinky bronzer. But when I swatched it and like spread it out a little bit on the back of my hand, it seemed to have a bit of a like a cooler tone glow to it. So what sheared out, it looked really prettily. So I want to use this as a highlighter today. And then later on, somewhere down the line, when I'm officially going to be reviewing this, I do want to try this as a mix in with foundation as well, because I think it's going to be really lovely for that as well, because that's what these things are, right? They're the dupes for the Drunk Elephant, and then e.l.f. did a dupe, and Essence has one as well. And then I'm going to finish off the cheeks with this. the Soft Touch Mousse Blush. If you saw my end of year favorites, and if you're in tune with what's currently going on within the K-beauty and C-beauty realm of beauty, you know that what they're doing a lot and what's very popular are mousse blushes. Whether it's the fui blurry pudding pots or any of the spin-offs that other brands in Asia have come out with, Essence now has its own version. I touched this, I was like, yep, they're duping the fui pudding pots. This only comes in 4 shades. I picked up the 1 shade that was in stock. The other shades just aren't available yet. It seems to be a really pretty neutrally brown. But let me know, do you want me to pick up all of the shades of this so I can do like a dedicated video with all of the shades of this and like show you the texture a little bit more? Because that's something I can definitely do once this line has been out for a little bit longer and it's easier for me to get my hands on some of these shades. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to use this blush, this bronzer, and this highlighter, and that's going to be my cheek look for today. But yes, Essence is duping more K-beauty, and I'm very happy about that because I just feel that more people in Europe and in the US need to be aware of what K-beauty has to offer, and or J-beauty or C-beauty, and I love trying products in those categories, and I've done so many videos with it already, and to see it trickling into brands like Rare Beauty and now also at the drugstore with Essence and Catrice makes me so happy. It looks quite pinky toned at first, but when you spread it out, it has a very clear, very gold shift to it. So if they had put more of like a pinky pearl in it, I think it would have worked better, but that could just be me. It is light enough anyways. It is definitely light enough for me. Really bouncy. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's very bouncy. Very similar to the fui. So first impression on all of these products is that they're very pretty, but they're also quite sheer. So that's something to bear in mind. The bronzer looks like it's going to be super dark, especially when I twist it up. I'm like, that looks dark, but it shears out a lot. I mean, especially on my forehead, I always feel you can really see what effect a bronzer might give. Because I have a very high forehead, so I always put a little bit of bronzer here to just not have this like plane of forehead. You can see how warm toned it is. Not the best, and I did struggle picking it up from the back of my hand with a brush, so I went in and like dabbed on a little bit extra on my cheeks because I felt you couldn't really see it over here, which is where I usually apply bronzer as well. This highlighter is beautiful. It's really, really pretty. I love that slightly sort of cooler tone sheen it has. It's really pretty, but I do feel that once you apply like blush over it, I always do my blush last because I feel like it really merges the highlighter and the bronzer together and you get more of like a cheek. I don't like it on myself when it's like very obvious like bronzer, blush, and highlight. I don't love that look. So I tend to like use my blush to blend everything together, you could say. And then I do feel I lose a little bit of the shine. So it's probably not like super intense where it's going to be like a true highlighter, but on like a summer day and you just want to add a little bit of highlight to the tops of your cheeks and wear a very sheer base for like a no makeup look, I think this is a nice product. The blush, exactly like the fui pudding pots. I do feel like the fui do have more pigment, which, to say that about a K-beauty brand, they're coming a long way here. This feels very sheer. It could also be the shade I have here. This is shade 20 Rustic Rouge, and it just has a bit of a bronzy effect. It's like a pinky brown tone. It's very neutral on me. So maybe if I try some of the other brands, other shades that the range has to offer, it can perhaps show up a little bit more. But I definitely had to like layer this like and like do 2 layers for it to really show up like this. And I still feel it's not like looking overly done. Again, great for the summertime when I think, at least for me personally, I tend to go more for a no makeup look than I do in the winter time, because when it gets really hot, I just don't want to wear a lot of makeup. So just a bit of concealer, maybe a bit of a bronzer, or like a quick easy blush, something like this with that highlighter and a bit of like brow gel in my brows, and I'm good to go, especially when I'm like traveling. So these are definitely things that I would have to consider to take with me in my travel makeup bag this summer when I'm traveling. Brings me to eyes then, and there's only these 2 things. There are no eyeshadow palettes, nothing really too interesting, save for the Jelly Jewel Glitter eyeshadow toppers. So these aren't eyeshadows, but they're toppers. There's one like that's a silvery taupe, and this is like a blue pinky iridescent sort of shade, and they are gels. These are also dupes, because these very much remind me, texture-wise, of the ColourPop Jelly Much eyeshadows, but also REM Beauty, Ariana Grande's line, had a product like this, which they've discontinued because it was continuously drying out. These come with a little protector that you need to tear off. And now that I've like torn them off, I'm like, that perhaps wasn't the smartest move, because maybe if I had kept them like partly on there, I would be able to like close it and keep them for longer. I'm only realizing it now as I'm sitting down to film it, but they did come off super easily. But that's then something to look for as well if you do spot these in store, to see if that little silver foil thing is still on, because that way you know they haven't been opened. I think what I want to do is, just for quickness, I always keep this little stack of Trinity London eyeshadows right front and center, so that if I need to do an eye look in a jiffy, that I can. So I'm going to use one of these cream eyeshadows as a base, layer that silvery taupe thing on top, and then I'll try and use this with a brush to highlight my inner corner, and that's going to be the eye look for today. But in far more exciting news, they have extended their Lash Princess mascara range. I'm holding 3. There's only 2 new things here. This is the thing I'm most excited for, the Lash Princess in brown. And it's the false lash effect one. So it's brown with pink. So it's the black one with the green, that one, but then in a brown shade, which makes me so happy. And then they also came out with a mascara primer. This is one of those white ones that is going to give you extra length and volume. I first want to try this by itself. I'm not a huge fan of these primer things. So again, because I have to film again and because I have to leave my house, because these things can sometimes really irritate my eyes, especially if they have the little fibers. My eyes do not like that. So I'm going to be trying this off camera, and then if I love it, it's gonna show up in a Shop My Stash, and you're gonna see this like with a proper review there, or at least I'll update you there, and I'll give you my final thoughts when I do that update video. But today it's a little too much of a risk for me, because on the website when I looked at the pictures, it's white and it looked flaky, and I'm like, I can't do that today. So, but I am going to be using one. I just got 2 straight away, with just like with the Catrice. Because, yeah, I just know I'm gonna love this product if it is indeed the same as the original Lash Princess. This is by far the best drop that Essence has done, I think, in the past 2 years. Like, this is the thing. I know it's so basic, it's mascara, but I'm really excited for this. Really, really excited for this one. And here is what that eye look looks like. That mascara, I love it. It is a lot darker than the Glam and Doll in the brown shade. Not only is the tube that way, but maybe if I hold up these wands together, you can see. This I feel is a lighter brown than this is. Of course, they are a little bit different that way, but I think you can see that the pigment of these isn't the same. So this like darker brown that's like nearly black has my preference for sure. So I like that a little bit better, but this is the kind of thing I like to top over things. I'm not using it right now because I just want to give this like mascara its moment to shine. And I definitely think that despite this not being like my most exciting product I've ever tried, I do think it's very pretty. Especially on this, I managed to really apply it very nicely. So these jelly jewels, they are definitely more of a topper. They probably work best used over other things. But I did apply something just a little bit there in the inner corner, and it nicely brightens the inner corner. So these are nice. I just don't think these are going to last very long in your makeup collection because they are the like jelly formula. The ColourPop Jelly Much dries up super quickly. Gonna have to throw out a couple of those again because they have just stopped working. And the REM Beauty one, mine still works, but there's always like a thicker layer almost on top, and if I scoop a little bit out, there's always like a little bit more of the wet stuff underneath it, so I can still use it, but it has very much deflated over time, as if the moisture this has in order for it to be applied just evaporates. And with these, especially with this like dinky packaging it comes in, I don't think these are gonna last a very long time. But are they pretty? For sure, especially with a slightly deeper base under them. These are a lot more successful than I had expected when I first opened these up. And then we're getting to the final category, which is lips. I have two new lip lines. I don't think this one is very new. I think this is actually just a shade extension because I think the first shade was already out in a previous collection, but these are new. And my plan is, like, just with the Catrice stuff, to come back on here a couple of weeks down the line to show you these in full. I only have 3 of the shades of each of these lines. They come with 4, so there is 1 shade missing of each. So once these launch in store, it will be far easier for me to get my hands on those missing shades. Once I have them, I don't think it's going to be until the end of February, to be quite fair. I'm going to come on here with an update on the Super Peptide glossy lip treatment. So this is the shade I'm actually going to put on for you today in this video, so you have an idea. But it also comes in this pinky and this corally shade. And then new is also the glossy Glaze. And these are the high shine lipsticks. So there's new lipsticks and there are new lip balms. I'll show you this pinky shade. So this is what that lipstick looks like. You can just twist it up, but this again, like, can you see how this was cut? How the bullet was cut? It feels so hastily, like just slapped together almost. But these look very promising. They seem very hydrating, and they do have high shine, and they do have a bit more pigment. They kind of remind me, let me see if I can find it. So they kind of remind me of these Peri Para lipsticks in the Mood range. They also have that slanted sort of bullet. This is more of a matte formula, but these also come in a more hydrating one. And this feels like the more hydrating version of that Peri Para. And these feel like it's going to be like the more hydrating version of that Peri Para version. So yeah, again, something they are definitely duping, it seems. But let me apply the Super Peptide Glossy Lip Treatment in Peptacular. And this is the thing where I'm like, is this new or isn't it? Because they did something called the Super Peptide Lip Balm, which I've already used up, I think, because it was that thick and easy to use up. But it seemed to go on clear. And my lips need all the hydration they can get because I have been stuck indoors grading for the past 2 weeks. And it's been busy. So my lips can use a little TLC. So it is just a slightly like lip balm, lip treatment kind of hybrid. These smell, like, it is a pleasant scent. It's not sickly sweet, but they have sort of like a caramelly sort of cookie, salted caramel sort of scent to them, which I had not expected. So this is really nice. What does it say? It has peptides and vitamin E. It says a day and night lip treatment with glossy and ultra nourishing effect. this doesn't really have a shade to it, but because it is more of like a lip balm kind of thing. But I thought this could be nice for today for me to wear it for the rest of the day. And these are all of the products I have for you. It is a very sort of barely there kind of makeup. It just is. That's sort of the effect they're going for. I hope you agree with me that we can clearly see where Essence is getting their inspiration. Yes, K-Beauty, which is also like they've perfected this like barely there sort of look over in the K-Beauty and the J-Beauty and the C-Beauty realm. It's all like very ethereal and whimsical and like barely there and skin focused, and that's definitely what this Essence update is giving me. And let me tell you, I'm not mad about it. Do I love the execution of all of these products? No. But do I like the idea? Do I like the concept? Do I like where Essence is going with this? Very much yes. So that's why I'm very chuffed with these products. I will definitely be rolling them into my Shop My Stash in February, March, possibly also April, because the Catrice drop was massive. So it's going to take me a few months to get through all of these things and not go absolutely crazy. But I will be back on here with my update once I have tried all of these bits. In the meantime, you can follow my blog and follow my Shop My Stash videos that I do at the start of every month, because then you know exactly what products I've been trying, what the review is sort of like going to be, because in the Shop My Stash, I always give a little bit of a summary of how I felt using it. And over on the blog, I write all of my dedicated reviews where you can see swatches, what things look like on my skin. You can see all the close-ups, because I will zoom in on my cheeks to show you the texture of that foundation once I write that review. But yeah, those are all of the products I wanted to show for you, that I have for you today. This seems to be everything. At least it was everything that was available through Boozy Shop. I always get questions where I get these things. Boozy Shop is a Dutch retailer, and they stock these products incredibly fast, which is why I'm able to give you these updates so quickly, because I think they get them about as quickly as they become available in Germany, which is quite rare. But if you're in the EU, you can find products like this on Notino and Lyko. In some countries in Europe, you can also place orders through the official Catrice and Essence website for your country, or at least they will help you figure out which retailers will be selling it for you. I can buy these from my local drugstore in store as well once things start to happen, because in stores it takes even longer for things to come into stock, because they first need to get rid of the old stuff and like put it on sale and then clear the space in the displays, and then we get the new stuff, because that usually takes like 4 to 6 weeks after I film these videos before that happens. If you're in the US, you can buy Essence and Catrice also through their official website. And I think a lot of this is also available through Ulta and Amazon. That's where you're going to find these brands. Asia, I don't really know. It's best to just look them up, like look up the official website for your country, because they have a whole like list. You can like, I think usually you're automatically like put into the international website, but if they have a dedicated website for your country, it is best to select that one for the list, because that way you will be linked by the brands to the places where you can find their products. When these will come your way, I don't know. Please don't ask. I don't know. If that's your question, ask the brands on Instagram, because that's where they're posting about these things. Just know that if you do not live in like Western Europe, it can take up to a year to a year and a half for these products to spread around the globe, especially with their limited edition stuff. So that's just all the information I wanted to share with you here today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Let me know, do you want me to pick up more of these blushes so I can show you all of them in a dedicated video? Because that's an idea that I got as I sat down to film this video. And like I said, you are going to get a spin-off with all of those lip products once I have all of the shades in. So thank you so very much for joining me here today. Thumbs it up if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more by me, because I do make several videos every single week. Essence and Catrice feature regularly on this channel, so I hope you'd like to stay tuned for more, and then I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye-bye!